I'm sorry, I don't know when to stop, but um I believe I was left off with they were driving me to LA library, downtown library, to talk to one of their engineers. So like I said, they sat me down next to him and they had this word at this fountain down there that said bright. That said you're bright. And other people that have trained was a step above me and it said evasive or lucid or something. They said this is what I ain't gonna throw them under the bus like that. This is said that this is what they accomplished. So once you accomplish voodoo, which is biotechnology, or you re-understood your telekinesis, you can be evasive, you can be lucid, you can be without control again. And the people that they trained before, not everybody, but some of them had already accomplished it. But that's not my point. My point is that okay, so I'm sitting down there and he shows me these symbols at the bottom of the downtown library in LA. And he starts working on his computer. And the computer is hooked up to my brain. And my brain and the computer is hooked up to the mothership. Now, how did I know that? How they speak telekinetically is how you speak when you're actually sitting in front of somebody and you get a certain feeling. So you get a certain feeling, or somebody from far away, using as an example, you know what I'm saying? People from far away might have an awkward stance or giving you a certain sensitivity that you're actually feeling, or somebody that you might be thinking about is actually giving you a certain feeling. They go on to tell me that this is actually a form of telekinesis. Now, we say that they are more intelligent than we are. They continue to inform me that there's no such thing as somebody being better than the next person or being, better than trees, animals, fish, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just because I got the jump on you when it comes to telekinesis does not mean that I actually have the jump on you. There's rules that we have to abide by too. And even if we were to kill you in my alien culture, in the culture that your people in ancient times taught me by, was that death is actually a celebration. Not a reward for myself. Death was actually a celebration. Also reincarnation, sex. But so just to keep giving you a feel of what I'm talking about. So you know how you thinking about somebody and they call you and they be like, man, I was just thinking about you. That's crazy. You're like, I had the same feeling and stuff like that. Or for the guys or for the women, when you think about like a certain person and you get aroused and you may daydream about this person or something like that. Do you realize that that person in some type of way is in that person's being's frequency is actually some type of way embedded in your mind, like you have cousins, friends, family, anything like that, you go, man, I want to be around this person, or I can't wait to see this person, because it's a certain feel that you get. You know what I'm saying? And the person that you're attracted, aroused to, it's a certain atmosphere that that person gives off. And just for example, you go out somewhere and you think about that same person and that same memory and that same feeling, you're actually telephoning that person every single time you do something. And if you're daydreaming or you're fantasizing about somebody, it was custom in the alien culture to ask for permission, because it was, they are able to speak through dimensions of the mind. Able to speak to dimensions of the mind as they daydreamed about one another. That person was actually there. And putting it in a sense, if you actually have that electric atmosphere of another person in mind as you think about them somewhere else, in your mind and your whole being is electric, you are an astra of the universe. That means you're actually contacting them. So it is not a hunch that your mama be knowing what you be doing, or if you getting in trouble or something, or something's going on with you. Hit you up every single time, don't she? That's what they taught me. So I'm just saying that these emotions in an evolved species that actually came from us and learned from us, look just like us, actually is us in the future. They said there were more people out there. That's what they told me. They said there actually are more people out there. Straight up. So they just evolved from us and they learned from us a long time ago. Some of them niggas was like thousands of years old, 3,000, 10,000 years old. You do not eat meat. You eat vegetables. Plain and simple. You do not eat meat. They even dared each other to eat, like, as they were in like a military stance doing their thing down here, one of their, just to keep their game tight and just on point, is that they would come out of nature, because these aliens stayed in nature. They would come out of nature, try to be regular people, but be very bad at it, and know all of the truth, and be able to manipulate people in the truth, and still get people to turn around and feel sorry for them in a situation, so you would never know that they were in camouflage and actually manipulated you in a way to get you to come out of your pockets minimally, or at least invoke some type of behavior, being an agent of change to provoke positivity in people's lives. They had rules. They could not control you. They could control you, but they couldn't get you to hit people, or there was just rules to it. They just couldn't do it all the time. They said they had cheat codes and stuff like that, but they said it used to be rules to everything, and sometimes people just, get outside of that realm. You know what I'm saying? I guess it's still ranks and stuff. So what I'm just saying is that as as we feel emotions and electricity from just simple thought about people, and people think they, feel that you thinking about them or something like that, you actually feeling that person. That's how they projected emotions upon me, upon people they spoke to telekinetically. Just to get you to feel what I'm talking about, they can get you to feel fear, despair, sadness, misery. And I'm telling you, at the time, my mind was locked. My favorite subject is psychology. My favorite subject is psychology and science. Man, I killed an ant. man, come on, man, up in my way and stuff, made me do something I didn't want to do. So my mind is on lock. I meditate. I'm into Tai Chi. I'm just on. And they knew I was smart. They even said Damon, the guy that was my elemental teacher, he even told me I was smart. And that's not trying to, he wasn't trying to get me to be gullible or nothing like that. They told me I was smart, but I had no clue what I was gonna get into. I didn't know a single thing about what they had planned for me or what they were planning to do to me to really break me down into something I wouldn't even into a person that I would no longer be familiar with. So first, my I had to follow like as they had the celestial road camouflaging their UFOs. The regular street lights actually looked like UFOs, and apparently there was some government operation to like on some Get Out or Us shit, on some Jordan Peele shit, to like manipulate people's minds and stuff like that, and aliens actually came to my rescue. I know that's like really into it, but I also not think, but I actually believe that that actually happened to some other people, and they were making me go through what they went through because they stopped whatever was happening, and they just wanted me to get a taste of what some locked up some locked up X-Men and some locked up supernatural people from my time was going through in like underground hidden military base, and they had me experience it out here. Now that's on a different storyline, but that's pretty much what they did to me, and they got me to understand that. So, and also it was some sex trafficking going on, and I was real curious about that, and I found out that they were actually looking like these governments were actually not just sex trafficking for organs and stuff like that. I actually found out that they were actually using these women for scientific research to finding out like truths of the universes and stuff, and actually using them to speak to like other alien beings as well. And not a lot of these girls, but some of the women that they captured, a lot of these people that they captured are like prophets. They're just not capturing anybody, even though these people may seem like nobodies and stuff like that. It's just because we're so far off from, the alignment of the calendar, like the celestial calendar. We're going by like an American calendar and stuff, and not charting the stars anymore. And that's really where we get our spiritualism from, and the calculations of like our spirit worlds is from nature. Is from nature. From star constellations, calculating the stars, and messages in like dirt and stuff. So what is that? So what is it? Kind of lost my place. So um, man, something about the celestial road. Okay, so continuing on. Oh, okay. So I remember. So I had to follow the airplanes that they had these street lights disguised as, and these airplanes would be going in a direction. I'm not talking about, I don't want people clowning, talking about I was following airplanes going back and forth from the airport. No, I checked that. They were going, and I was the only people that could see it. And if I wasn't the only people that could see it, they just looked like airplanes, and we was all following them, right? Um, no, they was going in a certain direction, and they told me to look at them at a certain time to tell me to go in that direction. If they were or were not driving me. They had multiple ways of cueing me and to do things, and these people were playwriters, script plays, card players, old school people. Like they was old school friends. They was on they stuff. Like you couldn't come up with a better scheme than them. They were the best of the best of the best on some real MIB, like for real. And they a part of their thing was that they had a whole line of people with special skills that were just running plays, and they would run like their Astra energy back and forth, and every single time that Astra energy would hit one of them, they had to come up with a play and use their telekinetic power or whatever element they were good at to put in that to put that in that to put whatever idea in that Astra wave that they were passing back and forth back to the line of people of those super beings, and they were just shooting it back and forth to come up with the best play. And once they had the best play, another one of those short Olmekian leader dudes, engineers, was like push play, and they sent it off to somebody else, like myself or whoever else they was training, or they just put it out there for like a random person to go through, not necessarily making it big, but it was like a play, so that person could play it out, and or an arena of people can play it out, so they could see how that provoked like positivity, or got them to break away from a certain mindset that they believed that these people no longer needed to be under the realm of. You know what I'm saying? It was more, they more had an understanding of like positivity and negativity, like the tree of life, like the Kabbalah. you know, under the root, under the tree, there's roots and there's darkness, but darkness, fell before there was light. And so if you study in all types of deals like good and evil and stuff like that, you would know that there would be no evil if there was no foundation of all greatness before evil came. You know what I'm saying? So, evil is just another creative idea from beings to continue to implement on other beings to intimidate them in their own way through through different perspectives, because you can't scare people the same type of way. You can't intimidate people the certain same type of way. Everybody ain't the same, so that tactic is impossible. So evil is inefficient, you know ultimately, but all things have always been here, so everything can be in transcendence throughout all time. You know what I'm saying? Throughout all time, evil would not last. It will be another name for another thing that's gonna be here, like some probably confusion or something, and you won't even know. Evil is its name. You know what I'm saying? It was real deep. They had different ways of provoking thought like that. It was real dope. So, like I was saying, as they trained me to see these airplanes, they drove me to that dude that was sitting at the library. Sorry it took me so long to get there. So they drove me to that dude that was at the library. He's sitting down there. He told me I was bright, and he unlocked a certain part of my mind that allowed me to have telekinetic sex. Now, the telekinetic sex was me clicking my balls together and using my mind, the two parts of my mind, to push forward through the telekinetic ears or other pathways of women's um electric portals of vortexes. Other people were good at that, but they were like shoot for the ears first, or you can go up the nose, or you can go up the mouth. Just they were telling me to use my mind and the electricity in my mind to go in those places, and then use their legs, and then shoot your mind to their legs and use the electricity that they're gaining from nature up to their feet, to their areas, to the vaginal areas. And they were like, that's where you link the nose or the ears or whatever you were using your mind to from the vaginal area through the spine, and you blast it off with the electricity that you use clicking together your balls and your brain, and it's gonna create and then that person's gonna feel that electricity because oh man, because now you're using your mind with the electricity of the ground through your balls, and then your brain. So you getting all your chakras. You line them up to telekinesis, and it just checks out. You know, you even now that my power is gone. I mean, not my power. I haven't even tried it, but I'm sure it's not there anymore. Nor would I do that again because then they'll they said every single time you do it, you leave energy places, and every single time I did it, I had to give it to like a piece of nature or the tree, and that was just pretty much the whole deal. And then from the tree, you would tell the tree to shoot up that sexual energy, and it will go into the atmosphere. Like you would talk to the tree, and it will pour there. Crazy. So all that stuff would actually check out now if you even talk about it. Even if you just put two and two together. Electricity, the electric of the mind, how the vortex is actually dimensionalized you to actually walk on 2 feet, and how your sexual organs actually emit electricity throughout the universe from your mind, because as of above is below. If you look at your two eyeballs and where your third eye is, and how your brain is shaped like your buttocks, and your two eyes are shaped like your balls, and for the women, it's shaped like their areolas. Those two orbs on the side of their vaginas, right above their vaginas, and both of our bottoms look like our brains. And right in the middle, instead of your pineal gland, it either goes to a male or a female. These things check out. That means my head could have been my bottom part, and my bottom part could have been my head. As above is below. Is also below. Man, I roll these things too tight. Something. These are triangles. You also see these things on pyramids and stuff. So he gives me this talent, and my job is to go out there and pretty much do this to as many women as possible without being seen. You know, and it gets done quick because as I go around and I'm not seen, um, I'm doing a good job. I'm giving all the sexual energy out. That's why also you're supposed to have sex outside, out in the open and stuff like that. And you know, nothing's happening, nothing like that. Later on, there's another story. But later on at Venice Beach, they tricked me to be seen out in the open. And there's actually like an alien task force, an American or worldly alien task force. If they ever see you doing things that the aliens taught you, or they ever see any suspicious behavior in which they know of, they'll send them niggas in and they'll check you out. And they'll see who you riding with. Actually, off of first initial hit, another reason why I know that you ain't supposed to be eating meat at all. These agencies that actually check for suspicious behavior that's still here today, it just really calmed down because it's a new time, it's a new age, and everybody's really growing. And we're actually getting ready to go out into outer space. Ain't nobody talking about it though. It's just it's a whole lot of freedom going around. So there's no need to try to um there's no need to like try to, smoke people, fade them out, try to trick them to make them believe in something else, like deceive people nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It's too much information, and it's going to keep growing. Like we're going to get to the point where we're going to go out into outer space, and we're gonna be like, you're lying too much. You know what I'm saying? It's you're the bad one. You're the one doing all the bad stuff. We get some of that now, but not enough. So what these agencies do is that they know that these aliens know that you ain't supposed to be eating nothing on this planet like that. That's bad for you, because I ain't gonna put these corporations on Front Street, but you might as well say it. They know for a fact that this food is out here to kill you, straight up. They even taking these seeds out. You know what I'm saying? The seeds is there to you know to keep the fruit whole. Like I don't even know how to put it, but it's like the the seeds. I mean, I do know how to put it. It's just I don't want to go. I do want to go all into it, but I'm trying to get this information out. The seed is actually a vibration that calls nutrients, that calls everything it needs to these fruits and these flowers, so that you can get the meat of the fruit on the fruit to eat. And without this ability, there's no possible way that they're growing these fruits and vegetables the way that they're supposed to, because these seeds have to dissolve their inner the interior of their nutrients into the food that we eat, in order for our body to have harmony with the universe around us. So when you take the seeds out, I'm pretty sure that messes up something in our reproductive tract that we actually really need. I'm looking for another word that we really need, because that is a crucial part of, you know, how we eat things, is the seeds that are in our fruits and vegetables. I wish I could explain it better, but that's pretty much how that goes. And but when it comes to these agencies, they know that these aliens know you ain't supposed to be eating nothing over here, nothing here, because this stuff will kill you, and it's killing these people. So what these agencies do is that, and on these other planets, and what we used to do here telekinetically, as you were eating from the planet, they could electrically, telekinetically absorb the sexual energy from you, from the plants and trees and grains and all that stuff, nuts that you've been eating, and the fluids that you've been consuming with your counterparts, right off of you, you know, and you weren't eating, you didn't, and it had nothing to do with meats at all. So what these agencies are able to do, they're able to use these visors, these devices, to see if, you know, just putting it modernly, if you're like a vegan. All right, they're gonna see if you're a vegan, and they call it devices and stuff, but it's actually, I don't want to call it witchcraft. It's like voodoo, but voodoo, and then they say witchcraft, they think it's like some magic and stuff like that. Okay, it kind of is, but it's not like that. It's not what people think. You know. Then they say alchemy. All right, they don't know that alchemy and magic is like hand in hand. They don't know that Christianity, alchemy, magic, voodoo, witchcraft is actually the same thing. And all in all that stuff really means is science. Absolutely every single last one of them across the whole board, that's all it means is just science. It's the practices of science, the sciences of the universe, the sciences of nature, no matter how you look at it. So they're using these devices and they're still knowing and able to sap these juices from you if you eating all the right things. And then they will transfer it to these super beings that they behind these doors making, because what y'all really think they out there doing in outer space, you know what I'm saying, or behind closed doors. And the closest thing we had to like a UFO or anything levitating around us, bitch, is an iPhone. You know what I'm saying? So they hiding all the rest of the technology and they just going out to outer space and finding all these extraterrestrial planets, and we have no word of what anything looks like or nothing's hovering around them. And these planets is like 18 billion, I mean not 18 billion, but like 18 times the size of our planet. And it could be 18 billion because we got to get off the stoop when it comes to what's really big and what's really not, and how spacious it actually is out there, and how big we actually are to some things. I've even heard, not even heard stories, I was actually told stories and actually made to understand that you can actually dimensionalize yourself in a domain of an actual atom, of a molecule. And every molecule, an atom, and dimension can actually hold the whole entire arena of a single universe, a universe of its own. You know what I'm saying? So we really got to get off of that too. So this is all the stuff that they taught me. So it was a saying that one of the ladies that was teaching me, she was like, "We're gonna teach you the truth." The alien, she was an alien Amazonian woman, copper tone, with short hair, pretty big, and she liked my grandmother. She liked my grandmother, Genova Fontenot. They spoke of my family. They even made me call them when they was like doing some street ball event, and they were talking about my brothers and sisters and stuff. They even said another reason why they found me. They kept asking me how they found me. I'm sorry if I'm sidetracking. I got off of the subject, but it was like another reason that we found you is that um we actually read your name in the stars. It was Shama. It was shamantic, meaning that regardless of what time it was, the universe actually spoke to them. Nature spoke to them through everybody's frequency around the world, throughout our whole galaxy. And it wasn't actually my name. It was my name and like my family bloodline's name. And people gonna say I'm crazy and stuff, but you look at what year it is. My mother is an Aquarius, and it's the year of the Aquarius. And we're not supposed to be going off of like a calendar. We're supposed to be going off of a celestial calendar, which is celestial. That's your being as a cell, an organism, celestial. You're supposed to be going off of the calendar of the stars and nature. That's the calendar you're supposed to be going off of. And this jinn and this God that everybody actually talks about is actually a universe around you that actually talks back to you through the frequency of everything that actually ever lived or always have lived or will live in the future. Even it's even the it's the same material that's actually in your ball sack and actually in women's eggs and in their comes, in their cum, and in your sperm. And it's the same emitted light frequency that's in your brain. It's the mutated stuff that's actually in the lining of plants. The stuff I'm coughing up now, that's actually smart sticky liquid. That's actually going throughout the universe like that stuff off of Ghostbusters that actually speaks through all of us and leaves answers and clues, and it's a collaboration of all of our minds called psychosynchronism that comes out with all of our minds. That's animals, plants, everything. It comes up us for a solution or another wave of something that we will deal with, good or bad, or just just an event or something, and it actually speaks to us. That's actually what God is. We're actually involved with our own creator at all times. So speaking telekinetically, I actually believe that, yeah, we probably were able to speak back and forth with nature like that. It had to be true. In terms of that, I wouldn't say that it said all those things that it would have said, but we sure would have been speaking. And that would bring me to my next point. I'm not even looking at these slides. I'm just telling you the truth because, like I told you, the leader who was actually in charge was not those short Olmecan um men. That was the engineers. And also, just to add, just a side note right here, the engineer that gave me that power was actually giving me that power from when it actually started, in which we actually transformed into these human beings as we were able to still use our telekinetic powers. And as I was using my power to have sex telekinetically, I was actually helping women reset their minds so they could see how important it was to actually have children still, 2018, and be protectors. And anytime they had sex with somebody else, they would bite that man, and their frequency from their mind to the vagina to that man's penis, that energy and electricity would actually wake up their minds as well. So it'd be like a virus, you know, a parasite going around waking people up through the electricity of telekinetic sex, because my mind was reverted back to the original status of how I would have known nature if I was still here, in that form. So a lot of people have sex. I don't want to lose my spot. So a lot of people have sex, and you don't realize that you take a part of that person with you, and it's been said. Research actually, bump research. They putting out all this misinformation, but that's actually true. You know what I'm saying? You do that electronically. You do telekinetically. You do. So my perception, as I was talking to these aliens and they bumped me forward, that actually broke people free from just me having sex. And that's actually one of my abilities. It's actually in the Bible too. The Bible's shifty too, but that's actually another way to break open your mind, and it's supposed to be scientific too. You know, and that's really what that's about. That's how they get people to jump on that too. So bet. So you go back and so you go back and you actually so you okay. So not only through the Bible, but in Egyptology and all this religious stuff, I look up my information and it actually says that my actual weapon. So through your astrology and your geographics and your astrology, astronomy, your cosmetics, in which makes you actually have an element that you abide by. Your Taoism and whatever, you have an element that you actually go by. And none of us is the same. Some of us is part of the cloth and stuff like that, but none of us is the same. But one of my abilities that they unlocked, and we learned each other abilities. But the guy that I bumped into that they led me in Venice Beach, Damon wasn't the first person I met. It was this disco dude that was he was a tall black dude with an afro, that he was like, he had a tiki face, and man, he I gotta use the restroom. He got and he specialized in the same thing I specialized, but he was more experienced. He was one of those military alien veterans, and he specialized in sex, and that was one of my tools too. And they chose him to be my teacher, my one-on-one, because I was infatuated with science and everything like that. But I was like, man, I gotta leave these females alone. But I praised them as gods. But through that, my mind was blocked because I didn't really know the truth about how special sex really was. I was still novice at that point. Throughout all that research, I was like, I'm gonna have to leave them alone because I gotta, try to save my communities, my world, and all that stuff. Before I met all these aliens, they were like, you don't know what you're doing to yourself, the universe, and all that stuff. Sex is what makes everything. Everything. You have no clue what's going on. And that I got in trouble for that too. Even when I call women guys, I got in trouble for that from those aliens. And um the woman in charge was a black Amazonian copper tone woman. Forgot her name. But she was Egyptian too. She was Egyptian. She spoke in Egyptian terms. She was like Set, the brother Set. And that was the formalities that they spoke about. They use Egyptian slang, and they all were red. They Crips and Bloods and stuff that actually came from tribes in like outer space and stuff like that, and like Orishas and stuff like that. There's actually romantic stories of Orishas. Not only were they not gang affiliated Crips and Bloods, it was actually it was a spinoff from Black Panthers that was supposed to be doing good anyways. And then they had leaders, and then they broke off into gangs because that's what the government was trying to do to people. So I don't even know why people be trying to set trip and throw stuff up, and you still doing it wrong. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how hard you was, real niggas was like real men. I'm saying I'm from the '90s. I remember when that was there. You know what I'm saying? So, I know the truth. You know what I'm saying? All these people doing these interviews and stuff. Nah, man. Like I remember. I really remember real niggas. I was out there. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't out there like that, but I was like, I was, I was an adventurous kid. And I knew the difference between, what you supposed to be doing, who was really in charge, why you was really acting out, and who really liked who. You know what I'm saying? The real niggas was real men, and they was really standing up for people. But like I said, and people don't want to hear that because they want to keep the shit going. They think you're getting points, but they really being lazy to taking on their own responsibilities, being real men. You know what I'm saying? That's really where the power is. That's really where everything is, and we really missing out on that. It's 2019, and we really missing out on that. So, like I said, a copper tone Amazonian woman who had a squad of other people in red, but she was in charge of all the colors at the Venice Beach camp. She was like the general. She was the one in charge. Um, Short haired woman, and they spoke in slang, in the Egyptian slang. And yeah, she started putting me down, put me to school, took me to school, and just give me a second. I gotta use the restroom though.